we're going to look at 4 different methods for multiplying a whole number by a decimal. So we're going to start with the problem 3 times 5/100ths. One method is to use the place value map. So if I were showing 3 times 5/100ths, I would want to think about this as 3 groups of 500ths. So 3 groups of 500ths. So if a flat is my whole, this is going to represent my 10th, so a long, and a 100th would be represented by using a unit cube. So I'm going to show 500ths. So that would be one group of 500ths. Now I'm going to show a second group of 500ths. And a third group of 500ths. So now you can see that I have a total of 1500ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. A better way of showing 1500ths would be to take 10 of these hundredths, and I'm going to carry them over, and I'm going to turn them into a tenth. So now you can see I have 1/10 and 500ths. So my answer would be 1500ths. A second way of showing 3 times 500ths is to use a number line. And when we're doing a number line, it's important that we work with equal intervals. So if I start with 500ths, the next tick mark on my number line would be 1000ths. The next tick mark on my number line would be 1500ths, because I'm counting up by 500ths. 500ths, 1000ths, 1500ths. So on my number line, if I want to show 3 groups of 5/10ths, I'm going to have 1 hop, 2 hops, 3 hops to show 1500ths. A third way of showing 3 times 500ths is using a shading method with a hundredths mat. So I'm going to we'll use a red pen, and I'm going to shade in 500ths. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that's messy. Sorry. I'm going to take blue, and I'm going to shade in 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll take green and shade in 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when you count the total number of hundredths shaded in, it's a total of 1500ths. Now, last I'm going to show you the standard algorithm. So whenever you're multiplying with decimals, you want to put the longer number on top. So the number with the most digits goes on top. So in this case, it's going to be 500ths. Notice I didn't say the bigger number on top, I said the longer number. So we're going to set it up like this. And now I'm going to multiply just like I normally would. So 3 times 5 gives me 15. 3 times 0 is 0, plus 1 is 1. Now, when I'm multiplying decimals, the decimal point doesn't just get moved straight down. That's not how you multiply. You want to count the number of decimal numbers. So that's the number of digits after a decimal point. So here's my decimal point, and I have 1, 2 digits after the decimal point in the problem. So in my answer, I need to have 1, 2 digits after the decimal point. So if there are 2 decimal numbers in my problem, I have to have 2 decimal numbers in my answer. on tonight's homework, you have a second example, which is 6/10 times 2. And it's going to work the exact same way. To show 6/10 times 2, you're going to show two groups of 6/10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Move that over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if you count this, you can see that I have a total of 12/10. I'm going to take 10 of these. So I'm going to take these 6 and then 4 more. And I'm going to replace them with, I actually don't have one over here. I'm going to replace them with a flat, which would represent my whole. So now I have one whole, and I have 2/10 left over. So 1 and 2/10. Using the number line method, if I have 6/10 here, this next tick mark has to be 12/10. So that's the same as 1 and 2/10. And I really don't even need to go any farther since I have just two groups. So there's one group, two groups, and this is, you could think of this as repeated addition. So if I add 6/10 plus 6/10, this is what I get. And then lastly, the shading method, I would shade in, let's see, I would shade in 6/10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to shade in all of that. Ooh. Good enough. And then I'm going to shade in these 4. And then 2/10 more. Ooh. I am terrible at this. So anyway, you can see you'd have one hole shaded in and then 2/10 more. Using the standard algorithm, you would have 6/10 times 2. 2 times 6 is 12. You have one decimal number in your problem, so there's one digit after a decimal point, and in your answer, you would hop that decimal point one place to the left. So you would have one decimal number in your answer. So 6/10 times 2 is 1 and 2/10.